Gardenhire for the Twins here, and he's had a lot of success in Minnesota, and he's hoping for a midsummer pickup. His ball club is struggling. They're a game under 500. Gardenhire's Subway lineup is Gomez, Harris, and Maurer at the top. Morneau, Cuddyer, and Creedy in the middle, with Delmon Young, Nick Punto, and Francisco Liriano rounding it out.
And let's check out the Piggly Wiggly scouting report on Jeff Suppan. He's done a nice job keeping the ball in the ballpark. Last 4 starts, all in June, has not allowed a home run. That was an issue for him before that. 2-0 in June, a .274 earned run average, and he's had very good movement on his fastball. His curve has been a very good pitch. He's throwing the baseball pretty well.
Here's how the Brewers line up defensively. It's Ryan Braun, Mike Cameron, and Corey Hart in the outfield. Infield has Bill Hall starting at third tonight with Hardy and McGee up the middle. Prince Fielder at first. And the veteran Jason Kendall catching Jeff Suppan tonight. Ready for the game's first pitch. Carlos Gomez leads off for the Minnesota Twins. And Suppan's first offering is high and away we go from Miller Park. Very fast leadoff hitter, Carlos Gomez. It's been a struggle at the plate this year for Gomez, a .219 hitter with just 1 homer and 10 runs batted in. Brewers coming off a 3-3 road trip, sweeping the Indians, getting swept in Cleveland. And the four-man umpiring crew, Doug Eddings calling balls and strikes. The crew chief is Jim Joyce, Hunter Wendelstedt, and Brian Knight. The others on the bases. Suppan coming off a good start his last time out in Cleveland. Went 6 innings, gave up 3 runs, and Rocky left that game with a chance to win. That was that crazy 9-8 Brewers victory in 11 innings.
Jeff Suppan, as we talked about, has strung together some pretty good starts. The Brewers 9-5 in his starts so far this year. And right now, one of the more consistent pitchers on that Brewers rotation right now. I mean, except for his first 2 starts of the year, Suppan's been pretty good.
Suppan won back-to-back games against Atlanta and the White Sox in the month of June. As Gomez slices one into right center, Cameron cannot get there. And Gomez on 2 strikes delivers a single. Let's take you back to last Wednesday. Jeff Suppan against the Cleveland Indians.
As we talked about, the stuff for Suppan has been very good. I mean, his curveball has been as good in his last 3 starts that we've seen him. Has been able to limit the walks and the home run, so that's why Suppan has been able to continue to lower that earned run average.
Suppan giving up 7 hits in his outing against the Indians. All 3 of the runs came in 1 inning against Suppan. That was the 4th inning last Wednesday. Other than that, Suppan locked down Cleveland. Part of that 3-game sweep the Brewers put on the Indians, but kind of gave it right back when they went to Detroit and got swept by the Tigers. The American League Central Division leading Detroit Tigers took it to the Brewers in a 3-game series. Runner at first for Brendan Harris, Minnesota shortstop. Last time the Brewers saw the Twins, it was Joe Mauer batting second and Justin Morneau batting third, but Gardenhire has moved Mauer back into the 3-hole now and Morneau back into the cleanup spot.
And that's why it's very important for this 3-game series. The Brewers need to keep the number 1 and 2 hitters off the bases so they can be very careful to Mauer and Morneau. It was not the case in the Twin Cities. Joe Mauer, Justin Morneau completely dismembered the Brewers. I mean, those 2 guys just can't do it. You got to put yourself in a position to be able to pitch around them.
And which translated means you have to contain the top 2 guys in this order, Gomez and Harris. If those 2 get on, then look out, especially the way Mauer has been swinging the bat for average this year. He's giving Justin Morneau plenty of opportunities with men on base.
And it's amazing that the Twins, as you mentioned, they've struggled their last 6-game homestand, 3-3. But you know, when the Brewers were in town, they looked like world beaters. They looked like they were ready to get off on a run, but that didn't happen. Offense has sputtered. They're not hitting the home runs that they did against the Brewers.
Harris a little pop-up. Hardy back in the grass, an easy play. And one away. Well, Brock talked about Mauer and Morneau in that last matchup at the Metrodome in Minneapolis, and it was not good for the Brewer pitching staff. Look at the batting average, .611 between the two. They had 11 hits and 18 at-bats. That included 3 home runs and 12 runs driven in a 3-game series. 2 guys doing a ton of damage to the Brew Crew.
Now, since that time, Joe Mauer's continued to hit. He still has that batting average over 400. Morneau, on the other hand, has been sputtering a bit. Not swinging the bat right now as well as he was the last time the Brewers saw him.
Mauer coming off an 0 for 4 on Sunday. Snapped his 12-game hitting streak. Has already hit 14 home runs in just 167 at-bats. A career high of 13. Mauer not only hitting for average, but hitting for power as well. And you look at his stat sheet, Rock, and it's hard to believe the guy has missed as many games as he has. He missed the entire month of April.
Yeah. Now, still does not qualify for the batting title. You need 3.1 plate appearances per every one of your team's games. And he hasn't gotten there yet, but the power and the average is something that you don't see, a combination like that very often.
Well, Mauer is about 20 at-bats shy of the official mark to get him in there among league leaders. Right now, he is the top hitter in the American League, but not enough at-bats qualify. It's an interesting scenario because if the season ended now and you attach an 0 for whatever he needs to qualify, he still would win a batting title.
That way ahead in that batting race. He's got 172 at-bats. 70 hits.
Gomez takes off. Mauer fights it off. Foul.
Now, and that's where you have to pitch Joe Mauer. You got to crowd him with the fastball. The Brewers tried to do that in Minneapolis, but weren't able to do it on a consistent enough basis. That went up and in. Last thing you want to do is throw a pitch away from Mauer and up in his zone. He's very good at using left field.
Gomez has been caught 4 times this year, not running as much as Gardenhire would like, not getting on base as much as he'd like. Ball and 2 strikes to Mauer. Suppan missing inside. Right now, Ichiro Suzuki is the top man in the American League in batting, .358. And Mauer checks in at .407. They say if he continues on this pace, he'll probably bust his way into the stat sheet sometime in mid-July. Tough to keep that kind of pace.
Especially when you catch.
Gomez broke, then stopped, and Mauer slices one foul in the seats.
Yeah, there's talk already, in the American League and the Twin Cities about a 400 hitter. It's a little bit premature for that, but still in all. Having a catcher do that would be incredible. With all the wear and tear, the foul tips. You get those little nicks on the hands. That affects you at the plate. It's amazing what that guy's been able to do already in his career.
Won a batting title back in 06. .347 average that year. And a career, up to today's game, a career .324 batting average. So you talk about dynamic duos, and Fielder and Braun are certainly elevating into that category. But right now, tops in all baseball, Mauer and Morneau. Not only do they produce the numbers, but they have the hardware already as well. Morneau, of course, has won the Most Valuable Player award. One out, top of the first. Gomez still at first. And Suppan, close play over there. Suppan has a terrific move and has already picked off a couple of base runners this season.
Yeah, quick feed over there and a good throw, and Gomez barely able to get back to first base. Looked like he was leaning and very close.
Count goes full, 3-2. Mauer typically does not chase out of the strike zone. 5 for 8, 2 homers, and 5 RBIs against the Brewers in the last series. That included 7 runs. He's always had good success here at Miller Park as well. 6 games since 2006. Mauer hitting .462 in this ballpark. And these two, the common opponents in interleague play. Always a home-and-home series between the Twins and the Brewers every year in interleague.
And the Brewers have seen quite a bit of Joe Mauer. I mean, he's only struck out 22 times this year. 22 strikeouts, 25 walks, so he puts the ball in play.
Suppan looking for a ground ball here. 3-2. Gomez takes off. There's the ground ball, but no chance for the double play. And Mauer is retired. With Gomez on the move with the pitch, the Twins run themselves out of a double play that would have ended the inning.
Yeah, good movement on that fastball that time from Suppan. That pitch started right down the middle of the plate. Not as big a lead and as good a jump because of that pickoff move. And you can see Gomez rounding the bag. I have no idea why he didn't slide. Good movement on that fastball. Just at the last second, going down just enough to have Mauer get on top.
So Gomez in scoring position, and here's Morneau. Morneau was off on Sunday against the Astros, and that's significant news. It's the first game he's missed in 2 years, and it snapped a long consecutive games played streak. That was at 319 before he took the day off Sunday.
Yeah, rough homestand for him. Didn't hit all that well. Decided that they were going to give him a mental day off. Twins got only 2 hits in that game against Houston.
Minnesota dropping 2 out of 3 to the Astros after winning the opener there on Friday. It's interesting that Morneau missed Sunday's game because the guy who was ahead of him in consecutive games played also missed Sunday's game. Ryan Howard, who made a trip to the hospital, as a matter of fact. Howard's consecutive game streak ends at 343.
And being very careful to Morneau here with 2 outs and first base open. The only problem you have there is you got Michael Kadire on deck, who had a pretty good series in his own right against the Brewers. Last time these two teams faced.
And Maka won't take any chances here. Morneau is walked and 2 on for the Twins here in the first inning. Well, Ron Gardenhire's been dealing with a lot of injuries. Maka says don't even bother. Morneau's been known to go out of the strike zone and drive in a run.
Well, we talk all we want about, get yourself in a position we don't have to face those 2 guys. Well, first base is open here. So you don't have to face them, so don't throw them a strike.
And when he showed he wouldn't chase, the Brewers put him on. So 2 on with 2 outs, and it's Michael Kadire coming off a big series against the Brewers in Minneapolis. Kadire hit for the cycle in a game in that 3-game set. He's going along pretty good. He's hit safely in 20 of his last 27 games. And batting over 300 during that stretch. That includes 8 home runs in those 27 games. And he's driven in 19. The benefactor of a lot of base runners, Michael Kadire.
And the benefactor because they're probably not willing to pitch to Mauer and Morneau. So you get behind him in the lineup, you're going to have men on base.
Kadire not only hit for the cycle, but he drove in 5 runs in that game against the Brewers back on May 22nd. Second cycle the Twins have posted this year. Ball and 2 strikes. Good pitch on the outside corner. Close pitch. 2-2. Good take by Kadire.
Well, Kadire's cycle, he hit everything from center field around to the left field line, so the Brewers trying to see what he can do on the pitch away from him. Just missed the outside corner.
Well, early trouble for Suppan, but he does have 2 outs. Gomez with great speed at second. Morneau is the base runner at first. And the 2-2. Chased one that gets away from Kendall. And everybody's going to be safe. Chased a slider in the dirt. But a wild pitch will extend the inning. The bases are loaded with 2 outs. First strikeout for Suppan.
And that's a ball that Jason Kendall 9 times out of 10 is going to be able to block right in front of him. It took a kick to his glove side. Might have hit something down there. Maybe a cleat mark, who knows, but that ball goes to the screen and Suppan has to continue here. Already 24 pitches.
So a strikeout and a wild pitch. And here's Joe Crede now, who boasts 7 career grand slams with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Suppan pours one in for strike 1. Crede has found a home here in Minnesota. He's been battling back issues for the last couple of seasons. Part of that Chicago White Sox World Series winning team back in '05. In his first year as a Twin. And that one's hit well left center field. Cameron is on the run. That is going to go off the bottom of the wall. 2 runs in, a third on the way, and 3 runs will score in the first inning as Crede doubles into left center. And the Twins right back at it here against the Brewers.
Well, you give them an extra out, they will kill you. Looked like an off-speed pitch up in the strike zone. And Joe Crede didn't miss it. He hit it hard into the gap. You can't give any team, even a team that's struggling, extra outs. 4 outs, not going to get it done. Actually, a fastball right down the middle of the plate.
Three to nothing Twins. Here's Delmon Young now with the runner at second, taking a big hack. We talk about from the penthouse to the outhouse. You're looking at a strikeout that would have ended the inning. No runs in. Instead, 3 runs are in. The inning continues. Young to Fielder. And a side retired, but the Twins strike. A costly wild pitch. And it's 3-0 Twins. Driving in 3 runs with a 2-out double into left center, and the Brewers and Ken Maka will have to play catch up early tonight. Mauka's lineup brought to you by Subway. Jason Kendall leads off for the second time this year. He'll be followed by Casey McGee, then Ryan Braun. See what Braun has done against left-handers this season, a batting average over 400. Middle of the order is Fielder, Hart, and Cameron. J.J. Hardy, Bill Hall, and Jeff Suppan rounded out as the Brewers will face Francisco Liriano. 2 wins, 8 losses this year, and an earned run average of 5.91. Kendall back in the leadoff spot. Saw a lot of that this spring, and now for the second time during the regular season.
Well, the Brewers have tried everything to try and get that consistent leadoff hitter, create counts against righties. Casey McGee has led off, and now it's going to be Jason Kendall for the second time.
And a base hit.
Now let's check out the Piggly Wiggly scouting report on Liriano tonight. Coming off Tommy John surgery in 06. Doesn't throw as hard as he used to, but still has a pretty good changeup. Has struggled on the road, a 6.43 ERA, a 1-4 record. And he's been very good in early innings. First and second innings, he's only allowed 5 runs combined, none in the first inning. But it gets a lot worse after that.
Had dominant stuff before the surgery in 06. Caused him to miss the entire 2007 campaign. And pitched mostly in AAA last year to fight his way back, work on his command. He actually pitched well a season ago in AAA. He was a 16-game winner last year. He has 2 wins against the Brewers and a 0.69 earned run average. But both of those starts were prior to his Tommy John surgery.
And when he first got called up, they were talking about him in the same breath as Johan Santana when Santana was a member of the Twins. That's pretty big accolades right there. Similar stuff. Fastball, slider, changeup.
Well, with the lefty starter on the mound, Ken Mauka has most of his right-handers in there. The only left-handed bat is Fielder. Mauka's had to play matchups. We started the season with a pretty set 8 men in the lineup, position player-wise. But after the injury to Ricky Weeks, it's been a mixed match. McGee into left, a base hit. Boy, the kid stays hot. Kendall thought about second. Delmon Young slipped and fell out in the outfield. But Kendall wisely holds up with Braun coming up. Casey McGee continues to swing a hot bat.
Well, got a pitch in on him and able to hit it hard into left field. Delmon Young playing very, very deep in left field. Got that one on a bounce. And he'd been playing relatively in a normal spot. Might have been able to get to that one, but first and second, nobody out. As we talked about, Liriano has done a very good job keeping the opposition off the board in the first inning. It's so pretty good start for the Crew.
So Ryan Braun with 2 on, nobody out here in the bottom of the first, trying to answer a 3-run Minnesota first inning. And Braun pops it up. A little over anxious at the plate. Ryan infield fly roll here. Morneau makes the catch for out number 1. That's a big out for Liriano here early.
Yeah, something off speed. Had a little wrinkle in it down in the zone, and Ryan got under it.
Here's how the Twins line up defensively with Young, Gomez, and Kadire in the outfield. Infield is Joe Creedy, Brendan Harris, Nick Punto, and Justin Morneau. And Joe Mauer behind the plate. The Twins have only committed 1 error in their last 11 games. And they've committed the fewest errors in Major League Baseball. Just 24 errors this season. And this is game number 72 for Minnesota.
Well, it certainly helps to play on that AstroTurf, that artificial surface at home. But still in all, it's a very good defensive club. They don't beat themselves ordinarily.
Gardenhire's got his defense playing straight away against Fielder. 2 on, 1 out. See the book starting to turn a little bit, and because there is a runner at second base, that changes the dynamic a bit. But more teams are beginning to play Fielder more straight up. He used to play him dead to pull, but not so much anymore.
Not particularly against a left-handed pitcher. You don't see that dramatic shift like you do against righties. But you're right, even with a right-handed pitcher out there, the spray chart for Prince is getting a little bit more line to line. He's willing to take the ball to left field.
Ball and a strike. 2 men are on with 1 away in the first. And a big cut by Prince. 1-2 the count. Fielder still sets the pace for the Brewers with 17 home runs. 67 RBIs, currently second best in the National League. Powerball home run leaderboard for the Brewers. 72 home runs so far this season for Milwaukee. Averaging just over a home run per game this year. Liriano strikes him out. So 2 big outs as Braun and Fielder go down with men on.
Pretty good slider. Off the plate, down in the zone, and Prince comes up empty. It's a good pitch.
Well, that'll leave it up to Corey Hart to try to drive in some runs here with 2 outs. Hart did not play on Sunday. Had the day off against Justin Verlander, but Corey Hart is riding a 10-game hit streak. Swinging the bat well during the streak as well. It's one thing to get hits in consecutive games, but it's another to get multiple hits. And Hart with a .395 batting average, 3 homers, 10 RBIs during this 10-game hit streak.
And another guy that's been using the whole field, hitting the ball to right. Most of his power comes from center over around to right center. And you got to figure, as much as Liriano likes to come inside, it's his natural tendency to pitch in on righties. You got to figure he's going to try and work Corey away.
Hart had a good road trip. Had a home run, drove in 4 on the recent road trip. 2 balls and a strike with 2 outs. Good play back there from Mauer. And it's 3-1. Hitters count for Corey Hart with Mike Cameron on deck. Hart takes ball 4. He hesitated. He thought he might have gotten a call there from Doug Eddings. But that loads the bases. And like the Twins in the top of the first, the Brewers load them up with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first.
How about that pitch? A 3-1 slider. Just below the knees, and that'll be ball 4. I don't think anybody was sure about that.
Pretty tight zone so far. See if the Brewers can cash in. Mike Cameron comes up with the bases full. Big opportunity here early for Milwaukee, trying to answer 3 runs the Twins put on the board in the top of the inning.
Liriano, ordinarily the guy is going to pitch to contact. He's got 68 strikeouts coming in just shy of 78 innings. That's not bad, but only 35 walks. Yeah, pretty good walk to strikeout ratio for him.
Had just 1 walk as the Twins pitching coach Rick Anderson is out. Quick trip to the mound here in the first inning. Liriano had just 1 walk and 6 strikeouts in 7 innings against the Pirates his last time out. But he took the loss, surrendering 4 runs to Pittsburgh. on the ropes here early. Cameron ahead in the count. The bases are loaded, full of Brewers in the first. Now, normally Liriano is good early. That's when he does most of his damage in the first 2 innings. A 1.61 earned run average. It's innings 3 and beyond that give him trouble.
Yeah, the first and second inning, outstanding. Has not allowed a run in the first inning all season long. 5 runs in the second inning, and then things kind of deteriorate second time through the lineup.
Ball and a strike on Cameron. 2 outs. And I'll ask if he went. No, he didn't. Wow. Cameron able to check his swing. That's your pitch right there, Rock. The 1-1 pitch, the pivotal pitch in the at-bat.
Yeah, what a difference it makes. You're either, as a hitter, you're either behind in the count or ahead in the count. Now he's got to come in with a strike.
Two and 1. In the dirt, another good play by Mauer. That saved a run.
Well, he's throwing an awful lot of breaking pitches. My goodness. That was a slider there on a 2-1 count in a situation where he's got to throw a strike. I'm not sure if he was lucky or good, maybe both.
That should be an action pitch here. 3 balls, 1 strike. Cameron in a hitter's count with the bases loaded in the bottom of the first. And Cameron takes a strike. That fills it up.
Well, Doug Eddings doesn't like the low strike, but he certainly likes the high strike here. That ball right at the numbers up in the zone.
So the runners will get a head start here. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Cameron with 5 grand slams in his career. There they go. Cameron lines one to the left, a base hit. That'll score 2. Hart has to hold his ground at second. Mike Cameron delivers with a 2-out, 2 RBI hit. And the Brewers within a run already.
Well, the first 2 runs that Liriano has allowed in the first inning this year. And another slider. A 2-1 slider, a 3-1 slider, and now a 3-2 slider. Cameron waiting for it. It's just one slider after another. Sooner or later, you're going to get a pretty good look at it. And Cameron able to bang it into left field.
Got to feel good for Cameron. He's been in a bit of a slump here lately. Cameron just 3 hits on the road trip. Comes up with a big 2 RBI single here in the first. Now it's Hardy with 2 on. And a fastball is in there for strike 1. Another fastball.
Nothing wrong with that pitch. That was 94 on the gun. Ooh. You wonder why I didn't throw more of them.
That was the burr in the saddle fastball.
Yeah.
Hardy can handle the fastball. Liriano put it right by him. 0-2 the count. 2 men aboard for the Crew. Good speed on the bags. And Hardy lays off. And JJ says, why are you saving your best fastball for me?
Well, JJ likes the fastball. It's okay.
That was a good hack. Hardy's been driving the ball to the opposite field lately. That's a good sign. JJ breaking out of his slump on the road trip. Hardy had 6 hits on the road trip, including a home run and 4 driven in. Hart takes off, and Hardy fouls it away.
Well, middle of the infield, not even moving a muscle to try and keep Corey close. So Corey just had a walking lead and took off. Got to hold those runners at second base. Got to do something. Take them out. They're not moving. They're like statues out there.
Conceding the 2 stolen bases. Liriano's focus is on the plate. Again with a 1-2. Runners stay put, and Hardy bounces one over to third. Creedy's got it for the out, and the inning is over, but the Brewers get 2 back. Mike Cameron, a 2-out, 2 RBI single. And his 3-2 Twins. On a 3 RBI double by Joe Crede, that came with 2 outs, and the Brewers answer with 2 runs on a 2-out, 2 RBI single by Mike Cameron. So here we go, already in the second inning at Miller Park. And Nick Punto leads off. He'll be followed by the pitcher Liriano, then back to the top of the order. Well, it looked like Suppan had pitched his way out of the first. He struck out Kadire with 2 on, but it was a slider in the dirt, and it got away from Kendall. Kadire was safe. The next man up, Joe Crede, doubled into the gap in left center.
Well, nice that the Brewers were able to answer in the bottom of the first inning, not messing around, sending that message to the Twins after that sweep. They got swept in Minneapolis, saying, we're not going to lay down here. You're going to have to bang your way in this ballpark.
Punto into left center. Cameron had him shaded that way, and he's got it for the out. 1 gone here in the second. Well, Dave Bush going on the disabled list today with micro tearing of his right triceps, and that leads us to our carsoup.com email the booth question. What is the Brewers pitching plan for Thursday's game? Mark in Menominee wants to know.
Well, Mike Burns, he got called up. He made an appearance out of the Brewers bullpen in Florida. Ate up, what was it, about 4 innings?
No, 4 scoreless.
Did a nice job. So he's going to get the opportunity. The Brewers are going to need another starter on the 27th. So it remains to be seen who that's going to be. So the Brewers, who had started out the season with only 5 starting pitchers, are going to have to go to the well a bit.
Now, carried that almost 3 months into the season, where they used only 5 starters. As Suppan strikes out Liriano, it was a remarkable feat. Something only the Giants and the Pirates had duplicated that late in the season, using only 5 starters throughout the year. Ken Maka and the Brewers have been taking advantage of off days, but Doug Melvin saying earlier today that spot will not be occupied by Manny Parra. They want Parra to make a few appearances down in the minor leagues. They want him to work on his stuff, work on his game plan. So the 27th up for grabs as of now. We're hoping to hear something on that tomorrow.
They saw that shot of Seth McClung. He's certainly a candidate for that, but Ken Maka has said he doesn't really want to use Seth in the rotation because he's too valuable out of the bullpen. But desperate times mean desperate measures. And you might have to use him.
One of the fears for a manager when you go to a reliever, a long reliever like Seth McClung, who's actually pitched in a lot of different roles this year, has been very valuable, is that how many innings can he give you as a starter his first time out? So you take a guy out of the bullpen, and is he going to be able to go 5 innings, 6 innings? I mean, that'd be a reach.
50, 60 pitches, that would pretty much be it. That's about the time where when you see Seth used in extended innings, that's when he starts to tire. We saw that in Cleveland.
Yeah, McClung, matter of fact, the last time Suppan was on the mound, was trying to finish it off and had to be lifted after 2 1/3. He basically ran out of gas in the 9th inning. So those are all things that a manager and a general manager have to weigh. So the option is you go back to AAA and you give a guy the ball who's been starting and is used to being stretched out, a guy perhaps like a Tim Dillard.
And you hope for the best. You hope that a guy's going to be able to come in there, give you some innings. But you knew something was going on with Dave Bush. I mean, back-to-back starts, wasn't able to get out of the 4th inning. That's just not Dave Bush. And you know he wasn't going to say anything.
Little slicer into right center. Cameron cannot get it. And Gomez takes off to second, and McGee cuts it off. Gomez catches the Brewers off guard. That throw had a chance to get him, but McGee thought the play was over, and he cuts it off.
Well, Gomez has that area of the field down pat. 2 hits, both flares dumping in front of Cameron. Almost enticing Cameron as he rounded first base, took a big lead. And those types of things will drive any manager crazy. Gomez just continues to move towards second base, and as you mentioned, McGee cuts it off, not anticipating Gomez going to second. That'll be a double.
Yeah, double for Gomez, his 8th of the year, and instantly in scoring position with 2 outs for the Twins.
Well, Cameron has it. Just kind of a lazy throw into second base. It would have been close had McGee let it go. But the fact that Cam didn't get it very quickly and get it in, that prompted Gomez to take off. There's a big out here. I mean, with Gomez at second base, you got to go right after Brendan Harris because you don't want to have to deal with the guy on deck. So this guy's going to get some good pitches to hit.
Joe Mauer would be next. Harris, last time up, popped up to the shortstop, Hardy. Suppan having a battle here early against the Twins. 3 runs, all earned in the first. And that one's lined into center field, a base hit. And a run is going to score. And the Twins just picking apart the Brewers defensively here.
Well, and here's a team that got 2 hits on Sunday. 2 hits against Wandy Rodriguez and Houston. And they've already pounded out 4 base hits, 4 runs on the board. Looking like world beaters once again against the Brewers. That fastball right down the middle of the plate. And Brendan Harris bangs it into center field. Well, you knew he was going to get a good pitch to hit. He got one, and he made the most of it.
Gomez's hustle earns the Twins a run here in the 2nd inning. An RBI for Harris, and now Suppan will have to deal with Joe Mauer with 2 outs. 4-2 Minnesota. It is a hot night here in Milwaukee. Temperatures soaring into the mid-90s today. Plenty of humidity here.
Yep, the ammonia water buckets abound in that dugout. both of them.
Into center field, Mike Cameron with room makes the catch on the warning track. Close call there. A run scores for the Twins. It's 4-2.
Hall will lead things off here in the bottom of the second inning after J.J. Hardy made the last out in the first. And not only has interleague play renewed the Milwaukee-Minnesota rivalry, it's also reunited some old friends, as in J.J. Hardy and Joe Mauer. The two played for the USA Junior National Team as 14-year-olds back in 1998. They played 3 years together, and J.J. told me that Joe hasn't changed a bit. He remembers the biggest kid on the team, never trying to hit home runs. He just kept sending seeds right up the middle, and it seems like things hasn't changed over the past 10 years, and that's the reason why Joe is hitting over 400, guys.
All right, Telly, thanks a lot. Now we're from Minnesota, from St. Paul, J.J. Hardy from Arizona. Those two crossing paths once again. Bill Hall back in the starting lineup tonight against the left-handed starter. Hall batting in the 8th position tonight for Maka. 201 hitter coming in. 5 homers, 16 runs batted in. Well, the Brewers get 2 runs in the first after the Twins scored 3 in the top of the first, and Minnesota comes right back, scores 1 in the second.
If 2 outs and nobody on have not been very kind to the Brewers in their last 4 games. Remember in Detroit.
Hall down the left field line. This one's well hit. And it's going to be run down by Young. Delmon Young makes a nice play. Remember, we told you he plays very deep.
There's not a left fielder that plays deeper than Delmon Young. I mean, in certain situations with a no doubles type defense, you'll see a left fielder play very deep. But Delmon Young, except for maybe when the pitcher is up, I mean, he plays as deep as anybody. All he has to do is go over. He doesn't have to go back. Making a lot of, look where he starts. He just basically goes across and able to catch it in front of the wall.
So 1 out, and here is Suppan.
You saw the good and the bad of that. I mean, that was a good play, able to take away extra bases, but that base hit by Casey McGee, when you're playing in a normal position, you might be able to catch it. A lot of balls will fall in front of you. A lot more in front of you than go behind you. And he was Suppan out there up at the plate. He's very deep.
Suppan with a base hit. Boy, he has really swung the bat well this year. Jeff Suppan with his 5th hit of the season. He's now 5 for 20 at the plate.
He's not an easy out. I mean, he's worked very hard at his hitting. He got a pitch down the middle, able to slice it just out of the reach of Punto at second. That's a good approach up there. Just getting on top of it, try to hit it hard, and take your chances.
Supan's actually driven in 3 runs this year. He's drawn 3 walks this year. And he comes up with a base hit. Turns the lineup over. Gets Kendall a chance with a man on and 1 out. It has the feel of a hitterish kind of night here at Miller Park, doesn't it?
It's kind of weather for it. Nice and hot.
No question.
I'll tell you, that ball that Joe Mauer hit that to end the top of the inning, that ball just kept going. The ball looks like it's carrying pretty well tonight.
Well, and you know, the statistics bear out that when the roof is open, the ball travels better, but the roof is typically open in the summertime when the weather's hot.
Yeah.
Obviously, the ball carries further when it's hotter outside. So I think those two go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Miller Park can turn into quite a home run friendly ballpark this time of year. As Kendall skies one out to right. Kadire makes a play for out number 2. 2 out. Suppan still at first. Check the Firestone leaderboard up above. Team runs in the National League: the Rockies, the Phillies, the Dodgers, who are just running away with the National League West. Cardinals are up there. And there are the Brewers, 5th in the National League in runs scored.
That series in Cleveland helped them in that regard. Scored a boatload of runs.
Now the Brewers scoring 30 runs in 3 games in Cleveland. Casey McGee was a big part of that. Over an extended period of time now, Casey McGee has really swung the bat. You go back 23 games, including his hit tonight, he's batting .405. It's basically a month's worth of games. And McGee has a batting average over 400.
And didn't have many at bats first 6 weeks of the season. It was tough to find Casey at bats, but right now, when they need him most, he's been productive and playing a pretty good second base.
McGee homered against Justin Verlander on Sunday. Been slowed by tendonitis in his right knee. Maka had him in there as the designated hitter in Detroit. Had a couple of hits on Friday night. McGee had 2 hits on Sunday, including that home run against Verlander in the first inning. What was impressive about his home run Sunday, he took a Justin Verlander fastball up around the letters and drove it out to the opposite field.
Yeah, about 94 miles an hour. He can handle a high fastball pretty well. We've seen that from him.
2 career Major League home runs for McGee. His first one came right here at Miller Park. Another good play by Mauer. Take it back to Sunday. First time up, McGee tomahawks one into the bleachers and right.
And not often you're going to see a hitter get on top of a Verlander fastball up there. He throws hard. Had a good day. But Casey able to get him in the first inning.
That was a 3-2 Tigers win. Verlander outlasted Giovanni Gallardo. And other than the score, it was a very well played game. Casey down the line. That's a fair ball. Remember, Suppan is the base runner here. It gets by Young. Suppan on his way to third. He's going to try to score. And Suppan will score. Casey McGee with a double and an RBI. And the Brewers back within a run. Delmon Young having all kinds of trouble with that baseball in left field.
Yeah, he just disappeared down there in the corner, and no telling what was going on with him. But Seth Suppan, the pitcher, able to score on a 2-out double. Just out of the reach of Joe Crede. And we'll figure it out there. He goes down. The ball hit something in the padding over there. It stopped. And Brad Fisher has no choice but to send Suppan home. We just hope that these Brewers are going to get a couple of hits, because I would imagine Suppan's about gassed right now.
He's going to need somebody to take a pitch, at least one.
1 or 10.
And Braun obliges, takes ball 1. Suppan will be fighting for oxygen in that dugout.
Dunk his head in that ammonia water.
In fact, Suppan might have headed for the cool of the clubhouse for a minute.
You saw how tuckered out Gomez was when he scored from second base on that base hit. Imagine how Suppan feels.
Boy, Casey McGehee, every time you see him play, you like him more. The guy just continues to deliver. Second hit of the game. His 13th run batted in. Guy's just a ball player. Even on wobbly knees, he's a ball player. Otherwise, McGehee would have been at third base.
That's the best way you can describe him right there. He's a ball player. That's exactly right. He'll do whatever it takes.
Fielder would be next. Liriano apparently trying to get Braun to chase here with a base open at first. Liriano struck out Fielder his last time up. There's a fastball in there.
That's the first time that low strike's been called today.
And you saw Braun ask Doug Eddings, is at the bottom of the zone. Is that as low as you go? Hitters count. McGehee out at second. Breaking ball, and Braun draws the walk. So with a base open at first, Braun doesn't chase. And that sets it up for Prince Fielder with 2 on and 2 out. Well, every minute that ticks off the clock is a valuable minute for Jeff Suppan after scoring from first.
And Prince Fielder has had some very good at-bats against lefties. He's done a nice job hitting over 300. And you know he's thinking about that slider in the back of his mind. That's the pitch that Liriano was able to get him with.
Liriano struck him out with 2 on in the first inning. Now 2 on here in the second. Brewers within a run. Fielder takes a strike, a fastball right on the outside corner. If he's going to pitch on that corner, it's going to be a tough night for Prince Fielder. Fielder's batting average just slipping under 300 after Sunday's game in Detroit. On the ground, right to Morneau, who's committed just 1 error, and that's the inning. So the Brewers strand a pair, but Casey McGehee delivers once again. A 2-out RBI double, scoring Suppan from first. Is presented by Plains Farm and Fleet. You'll always find value at your local Farm and Fleet. By Piggly Wiggly, shop the pig and save. And by Ho Chunk Gaming Wisconsin.
Welcome back to Miller Park. We head to the top of the third inning where Minnesota leads Milwaukee 4-3. I'm pleased to be joined by Brewers Vice President of Business Operations, Rick Schlesinger. And Rick, first off, we got to commend you and your staff for making this park so invisible for fans to see the damage it suffered when the team was on the road.
Well, compared to last Friday versus today, it's a great testament to all of our hard workers, contractors, front office people giving up their Father's Day weekend to have the situation here and then have a sellout tonight. It's a great tribute, and I'm very proud of our organization.
Well, the Brewers are kicking off their longest homestand of the season, 9 games, and there's still a lot of tickets available for fans that want to come out to Miller Park, right?
Yeah, we have a sellout tonight, but good tickets for tomorrow. Thursday is going to be probably close to sellout. Weekends, tickets are in short supply. We've got a wraparound series against the Mets, though, and we're happy to sell tickets to that series. But, again, great crowds, great support from the fans so far.
And talk about Dingers for Dollars. That's a great promotion you guys have for this homestand.
Every home run, starting last weekend all the way through this Twins series, $1 off a Loge outfield ticket for the Cardinals series, July 7 and 8. So we've got 9 so far, so a Loge outfield ticket, $28. Now it's $9 off, and let's get it down even further.
Yeah, hopefully they'll keep it going. We also want to remind fans that you can still vote for your favorite Brewers at Brewers.com for the All-Star game as well.
Absolutely. We've got Ryan Braun in second place. We want to get some of our other players up there. I want to see if Prince can overtake Albert Pujols. But, you know, the fans have been great. The support has been tremendous, and let's get as many players to St. Louis as possible.
Rick, thanks for your time.
All right, Telly, thanks.
All right, Brian, let's send it back up to you.
All right, Telly, Rick, thank you. As Michael Kadire singles to left. Boy, the flooding that occurred here over the weekend, you show up to the ballpark today. Of course, the Brewers have been on the road, and our first chance to kind of see what has gone on, and you go down to the service level where most of the damage was, or all of the damage was, and it's amazing how well it looks when you consider just exactly what was going on down there over the weekend.
Yeah, you really couldn't tell. You get into some of the rooms in the service level, and they got some of the the drywall, cut out. Just going to replace that at some point. But all the carpeting has been replaced. But yeah, it's amazing. Rick Schlesinger and everybody in the Brewers front office, giving up their Father's Day weekend, getting all that work done. It's amazing. I mean, some of the guys that were here on Sunday, when the team got off the plane, they took a look and they said, "There's no way we're going to be able to get anything done here by Tuesday." But here we are.
It took just an army of employees and contractors to try to get the service level back operable. Of course, the clubhouses as well. And tip our hat to all those who helped out, and the team that came in and part of the cleanup after the flooding here over the weekend. Base runner at first with 1 away. Joe Crede, the batter. He did big damage in the first inning when he doubled home 3 runs with 2 outs. Matter of fact, all 7 runs in this game have been scored with 2 outs. One and 2 to Crede. Keeping a close eye on Suppan after he scores from first base. Obviously, on a hot night like this, very humid night, it's going to take something out of anyone, but especially the pitcher, who is the hardest working man on the field right now.
Except for the catcher, of course. Well, he got some time to rest. You had Ryan Braun, he got the walk, and Prince Fielder was the second pitch. He should be fine. He's a world-class athlete.
Yes, he is. He's no catcher, but he's a world-class athlete.
He's close.
Well, it was Suppan's base hit that led to the run. Casey McGee doubled. Suppan scoring from first with 2 outs. So 4-3, the Twins lead the Brewers here in the third inning. Suppan could use a double play here. And he might just get one. Hardy bobbles. Man, oh man. Well, the Brewers are kicking it around a little bit tonight. That looked like a tailor-made 6-4-3 double play.
Yeah, Joe Crede, doesn't run all that well. I mean, he's not a base burner. And it would have been a double play, but ball just rolled right up JJ's glove. Kind of things that happen against the Minnesota Twins. You give them extra outs, and all of a sudden, even guys at the bottom of the order are going to get it done. I think JJ thinking about the flip over to Casey a little bit too soon.
4th error of the year for Hardy, the normally sure-handed Brewers shortstop. Well, we saw the play by Cameron taking his time and allowing Gomez to reach second last inning. Gomez would score on a base hit. And it was a wild pitch on a breaking ball in the dirt that Jason Kendall blocks 9 times out of 10. That would have ended the inning in the first. Instead, it set up 3 runs in that first inning. So Suppan not getting much help behind him tonight. Two on with 1 away. Delmon Young popped up his last time up and hammers that one, hits the bag. That's going to go down the line and to the wall. Creedy's going to be held around third. Delmon Young with an RBI double. Boy, the Twins on the board again. They have not had a scoreless half inning yet. 5-3 Minnesota.
That ball a rope right down the third baseline. Missed his spot. Kendall wanted it away. That ball up and in, and Delmon Young hammers it down the line. Just barely able to keep it fair. The fire burning hot once again for the Twins.
And with a base open at first and the pitcher coming up next, Nick Punto is going to be intentionally walked. What a frustrating night already for the Brewers defensively. 6 hits for the Twins as well.
Well, the decision here is you want to face Punto and the pitcher or the pitcher and Gomez. Look at Ken Maka maybe trying to set up the double play. That's assuming that Liriano is able to make contact. Somewhat of an interesting decision. Hey, fans, for just $36, get 1 Loge infield ticket to one of 8 Brewers games and a $25 Potawatomi Bingo Casino Restaurant gift card. You have to be 21 or older to dine in those restaurants. For details, call 414-902-4000 or go to brewers.com/Potawatomi.
Bill Castro, Brewers pitching coach, talking a little strategy with Kendall and Suppan here.
And part of the decision, I would imagine, Punto was switch hitter, and he was batting left-handed. So you go after Liriano, a left-handed batter, and then Gomez as a righty. They're playing the percentages for Suppan to get the right-hander as opposed to the left-hander. Best case scenario here, a ground ball to get out of the inning.
Assuming the Brewers can turn the double play. Should have had an inning-ending double play a moment ago. But an error by Hardy. And everybody was safe. Bases loaded again. Ton of base runners already in this game. Liriano just 1 at bat this year. Struck out back in the second inning. Well, I'm sure if you're Ron Gardenhire, you tell Liriano to elevate. You'd rather see a swing and a miss than a ground ball here. Hit the bottom of the baseball, right?
I think Liriano's just looking for contact, whichever way it comes.
I don't even think Gardenhire would mind if he didn't make contact. In his career, Liriano is 1 for 6 at the plate. 4 strikeouts. Doesn't hit much over the American League. The only National League team he's faced this year was the Pirates, and that was in Minneapolis. So the DH rule was in effect. 1-2. Would you ever consider giving a pitcher a take sign with 2 strikes, Rob?
Assuming that he would get it. Pitchers in the American League that bat maybe once or twice a year, they're not looking for signs. They're told what to do.
And between pitches if necessary. 2-2. Down he goes. I think he might have had to take sign.
Yeah, maybe he did.
2 outs. Bucks fans, the 2009 NBA Draft Party presented by Miller Genuine Draft is this Thursday starting at 6 p.m. at the Sports Zone on the Summerfest grounds. Join in the excitement, including up-to-date coverage and analysis of the NBA Draft, plus performances by all the Bucks entertainers. That's all of them. Bucks.com for more details if you're interested. Big trade today, I heard rumors of, between the Bucks and the Spurs. I don't know if any of those players from the Spurs coming over the trade are going to actually play for the Bucks, but that was a newsworthy trade. Richard Jefferson sent to
for 3 guys,
San Antonio, and there's already been a secondary trade off of that.
That much I know. I knew it was 1 for 3.
Francisco Alberto already got sent out of here. Alberto, one of my favorite Spurs when I worked in San Antonio.
Is that right?
Oh, he was great. Argentinian. He and Manu Ginobili were good friends, and they were on the Olympic team in Argentina. Fun guy to be around. We called him Fabio. Nothing like a little NBA talk, huh, Rock, here at the end of June?
Oh, no, it all goes hand in hand with the graphic and that draft party. You betcha.
Well, key hitter for Suppan here. Gomez has 2 hits against him. The double he posted in the second inning was a hustle double. Kind of caught Mike Cameron off guard. Took second base, then scored on a single from Brendan Harris. Bases loaded, 2 outs, 5-3. The Twins lead the Brewers. And Gomez fouls that one away, and kind of a similar swing as what we've seen in his first 2 at-bats.
Yeah, he's been serving everything over there toward right center. Hasn't made really good contact yet. A couple off the end of the bat for base hits. That one down on the trademark, down on the handle.
And a line drive, and that is a base hit. Creedy will score. Delvin Young right behind him. And Gomez has a 3-hit game. He's driven in a pair, and it's 7-3 Minnesota.
Yep, 3 for 3. We're only in the 3rd inning. That one down on the trademark just a little bit. Didn't hit it all that hard, but it was up in the zone, the pitch. And able to fight it off just out of the reach of Hardy at short. Check it out. It jammed him, but the fact that it's up in his zone, able to elevate it over the infield and drive in a couple of runs. Just barely out of the reach of JJ. So a couple of unearned runs come across.
Costly error in this inning. Should have been a 3-batter inning for Jeff Suppan. Instead, he is still pitching in the 3rd. And that one's hammered to center field way back. Cameron on the run at the track near the wall. Cameron reaches up and he's got it. Mike Cameron with a great play in center field. And the inning finally ends. Outstanding catch by Mike Cameron. Harris robbed of extra bases. The Twins have scored in every inning, 2 3-run innings. And the Brewers continue to fight the uphill climb here as Corey Hart leads off. Matter of fact, there has not been a scoreless half inning yet. Brewers would like to keep that trend going here.
Kind of reminds you of that Cleveland series.
Gomez has 3 hits. Just drove in 2 runs with a cue shot single into left center field.
And that was the decision that the Brewers made to walk Nick Punto with 2 outs, or with 1 out, I should say, to load up the bases to face Liriano, who struck out, and then the leadoff hitter. Trying to get that right-hander versus right-hander matchup, and it backfired.
Oh, and 2 the count. And Hart off the end of the bat. 1 hopper out to Punto. Out number 1.
Kids ages 8 to 13 are eligible to win the Pick and Save and Cops Bat Boy Bat Girl contest. The winning child will win 4 Brewers tickets and will deliver the rosin bag to the pitcher's mound before the ball game. See the June 14th to the 24th Pick and Save ad for official entry forms.
Happy birthday, Julie. Good view. Good seat for your birthday. Mike Cameron. He drove in a pair. 2 outs back in the 2nd inning. Now the Brewers start the day 1 back of the Cardinals in the National League Central. The Cardinals lost yesterday to the Mets. Tim Redding did a number on St. Louis yesterday at Citi Field.
Yeah.
Mets are banged up. You know, you watch games all across baseball. I think everybody has the same kind of story right now. The Brewers are in that picture, but there are a lot of injuries. Guys are banged up.
Yeah, the Mets lost their best run producer. Ibanez on the disabled list. That's only a game and a half back of the Phillies. The Florida Marlins only 3 back. All of a sudden playing some better baseball. Dave Bush on the disabled list. Ricky Weeks on the DL.
Bouncer over to third. That's off of Creedy. And then out to the shortstop. Harris, who cannot handle it. And Cameron is aboard. Caught a piece of 2 Minnesota Twins defensively. And that'll go as an error on Creedy at third.
Well, you get these guys on the natural surface and you get the in-between hops. You might get a bad hop once in a while. This one, the bad hop, just misplayed at third base.
So a base runner with 1 away. And here's J.J. Hardy. But you know, Rock, I was watching that game last night, and the Cardinals have had their fair share of injuries. Certainly the Mets, you know, they've lost key figures in their lineup as well. Guys like Jose Reyes and J.J. Putz.
Delgado.
Yep, Delgado's hurt. John Maine on the disabled list as well. I think that's just a common theme. I mean, we went to Cleveland, same story. You go to Detroit, same story.
Right.
That's just part of the game this time of year. And those who can stay relatively healthy, those who can avoid this significant DL time to their big stars, are usually the ones that can come out on top at season's end.
And if you do have those big injuries, you just hope to weather the storm until they come back. It's just the way things are. I mean, it's always been that way in baseball. Every team's going to have injuries. The ones that don't, or have the fewest, are the ones normally that are going to end up winning a division and getting to the postseason. Cubs were relatively healthy last year. They're having their troubles this year.
Yep, a lot of veteran players with the Cubs. It helps to have youth on your side. The Brewers certainly have that. But I think the Brewers, you know, it's really starting to surface how impactful Ricky Weeks was to this lineup. You know, 9 home runs in a month.
Yeah.
It's pretty special. And Weeks, although the Brewers have filled in nicely, Casey McGee's having a good year. And since he got got some playing time. He's really swung the bat well, but until Ken Maka can kind of settle on a lineup here, and Matt Gamble's going to get some extended opportunities now, even with no more designated hitter in play the rest of the season.
Yeah, just the whole package that Ricky Weeks delivered on a daily basis, that intensity. I mean, started to be looked at as one of the leaders in that clubhouse and in that dugout. But you have to move on. I mean, as much as you wish Ricky Weeks is in the lineup, he's not. And you got to deal with it.
Hardy back up the middle, a base hit. So the Brewers right back at it. With one out, an error and a single. And here comes Bill Hall.
Well, let's see if the Brewers can turn the tables on the Twins. The Twins able to get 3 runs on the board with an error. And the Twins with one out, nobody on, commit an error. Let's get some payback right here. Not a bad pitch by Liriano. Fastball in on him. Able to fight it off into center field. That's good at bat. Didn't hit it hard, but able to muscle it into center field.
Hall narrowly missed a home run his last time up. Maybe slightly off the end of the bat. It went as a fly ball out to left. Sent Delman Young to the warning track.
Can you see Delman Young out there? Where is he?
It looks like he's in the Friday's front row
I think
grill.
he's up here. Oh, there he is. I'm sorry. That's about as deep as you're ever going to see a left fielder play. There's no way a ball can be hit over his head, stay in the ballpark, and not be an out. He's got to go back, what, about 5 steps?
Now, is that a Delman Young philosophy, or is that a Minnesota Twins philosophy?
That's a Delman Young positioning issue right there. Not comfortable going back on a baseball. There's no coach that's going to have your left fielder play that deep.
2 on for Hall with 1 away. And a fastball in there.
Although with a man at first base and 1 out, all the outfielders for the Twins right now are deep, trying to cut off those gaps. You got Gomez and Kadire both deep in the outfield as well.
One and 2 to Billy. Hall trying to keep the line moving here. An error and a hit. 2 on for the Brewers in the 3rd inning. Hall did not get much playing time on the road trip, especially in Detroit. 1 for 10 on the road trip. Did have a home run and drove in a couple. And he strikes out. Liriano comes with a fastball. Out number 2. Now baseball's biggest stars go head-to-head for one spectacular night in the summer's biggest event, as Fox brings you every thrilling moment of the 2009 Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Coverage begins Tuesday, July 14th, 7 Central, only on Fox, live from St. Louis. And the crowded parking lots here. A sellout here at Miller Park. Suppan will hit for himself. Maka choosing the innings over a run producer in a spot like this with 2 outs. Plus, Suppan has actually swung the bat okay lately. Had a hit his last time up. Popped him up. So the first scoreless half inning of the night comes in the bottom of the 3rd. 7-3 Minnesota. interleague history. And I'm going to go with the Twins for one of them for sure. Huh? I'm not sure about this, but can't imagine a team having more success. At least it feels that way when the Brewers play the Minnesota Twins. A team that has dominated the Brewers. They have won 16 of their last 22 games against Milwaukee.
Well, they're 8-4 in interleague play so far this year, which is a pretty good start.
Including a 3-game sweep of the Brewers in Minneapolis back in May.
Marlins are pretty good in interleague play, aren't they? Just guessing.
Taking a stab at it. You're not giving an answer away. You're just just playing along.
I do. I like to play along with our Aflac trivia question.
Yeah, and they appreciate that. You know who's been good this year against the American League? The Colorado Rockies. They've won 8 out of 10 against American League foes, including another win last night against the Angels.
Baltimore's 9-3. Yeah.
Joe Mauer, Justin Morneau, and Michael Cuddyer for the Twins. Suppan still out there. Suppan allowed to hit for himself in the bottom of the 3rd inning with 2 on. Suppan has given up 7 runs on 7 hits, but his defense has not exactly supported him tonight. Been 3 key plays in this game. First, it was a wild pitch from Suppan in the 1st inning with 2 on. Looked like a strikeout to end the inning, but the pitch got away from Kendall. The inning continued. Then Creedy drove in 3 runs with a double. The very next batter.
Seems like every time you give this Twins team an extra out, they take advantage of it. Did the same thing in the 3rd.
Suppan looked like he had a double play right in front of him. Hardy committed the error. And instead of an inning-ending double play, no outs were achieved. And, of course, the Twins scored 3 runs. And all that, and Mauer is 0 for 3 tonight.
No, just keeps the bat in the hitting zone a long time. I mean, that wasn't a bad pitch by Suppan. That sinker going away from him, still able to get a piece of it. That's why he's only struck out 22 times this year. Even when he's full, he's able to get the bat on the baseball.
Morneau pops it up. Kendall can't find it. Suppan is there, and he can't handle it. Kendall never saw it. And Suppan, you know, the pitcher normally doesn't field pop-ups. And he had to scramble to try to find the baseball, and he drops it.
And that's probably going to be an error. I mean, a pop-up that looked like a relatively easy out. He got there quickly, but, I mean, the official scorer can't really take into consideration if that's the pitcher trying to catch the pop-up. Kendall doesn't see it. It's twilight right now. Tough to see. Suppan gets over there. He gets over there in plenty of time. And goes off the glove. Maybe not. Maybe might not give him an error on that.
And Morneau lines one down the right field line, a base hit. Well, the Twins have cashed in on every Brewers mistake tonight. Morneau doubles his first hit of the game, and the Twins right back at it. Man in scoring position and 1 away.
Well, Justin Morneau, as we talked about, has scuffled a little bit as of late. A 3-for-17 homestand in 6 games. Curveball off the end of the bat. There's another guy that keeps the bat in the hitting zone a long time, able to line it into right field for a double. Should have been out.
Instead of 2 outs, nobody on. Morneau at second base for Cuddyer. Cuddyer has a home run and 5 runs batted in against the Brewers this year. And all of that damage came in one game when he hit for the cycle back in May. has a hit tonight. His at-bat in the first inning was the key at-bat so far. Suppan had struck him out with a slider in the dirt. Kendall went down to block it. It bounced off his chest protector. Kadire reached first. The inning was extended. Then Creedy doubled in 3 runs. 2-0 the count. 3-0. Creedy would be next. The Twins have 7 runs on 8 hits. Walked him on 4 straight. Well, you know Ken Maka does not want to make the move to the bullpen. The whole reason he let Suppan hit for himself with 2 on and 2 out is so Suppan can continue to work and pitch through this game.
Well, he's only got 82 pitches. But the problem is there's men on base every inning. I mean, this is now the 10th at bat for the Twins with a man in scoring position. We're only in the 4th inning. Early action in that Brewers pen. Chris Smith gets up.
The Twins have brought 24 men to the plate already. We play in the 4th inning. 2 on, 1 out. Joe Creedy on the ground. Hardy to second for 1. That's in time, and the return throw in time. An unlikely double play on a slow roller from Creedy. And the Brewers finally pick up their pitcher. 6-4-3 double play out of the inning.
Miller Park, time to check in with the crew in the community. The Milwaukee Brewers today unveiled a monument that honors one of the original American League teams, the 1901 Milwaukee Brewers. The monument is located on the plaza in front of the Miller Park home plate gate. The piece was commissioned by David Stalker, a baseball historian from Watertown, Wisconsin. In 1900, the American League was born at a Milwaukee hotel named the Republican House. The following year, during the 1901 inaugural season for the American League, the Milwaukee Brewers were one of 8 teams to participate in Major League Baseball's junior circuit. Guys?
All right, Telly, thanks a lot. It's a great piece of history, and that's a beautiful monument and a great monument to recognize the original Milwaukee Brewers of 1901.
And they've got pictures of baseball back at the turn of the century up at the club level as you walk around the suite areas. I love that part of baseball history, really do.
Old-time baseball.
Yeah.
And the beginnings of the American League right here in Milwaukee. And that team, by the way, was managed by a Hall of Famer. Hugh Duffy managed that original Milwaukee Brewers club. Hugh Duffy was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1945 and was a great hitter before the turn of the century. He was at the end of his career in 1901. Right. He was just winding it down, Rock.
When they used to hold their hands apart.
The split grip.
The split grip, the punch and run type baseball. Back in those days, they considered that you hit the ball over the fence to be bad form. That's bad sportsmanship.
That's right. And a lot of ballparks didn't even have fences.
Right.
That's just where the people and the horses lined up.
It was called small ball back then with the dead ball era.
Mm-hmm. And when they say the ball was dead, I mean it was dead. It was flat,
like a beanbag.
That's right.
Like trying to hit a pincushion.
The Duck has something to say here. Which two teams have the best all-time records in interleague history? All right. Ducks fired up tonight. The Twins and the Yankees. There you go.
There you go.
Two American League teams. Ron Gardenhire has been able to produce some winners in Minnesota. They were on the wrong side last year. Odd man out of a one-game playoff. Casey McGee down the right field line, and it's run down by Kadire. 2 outs. Beautiful Miller Park, and a sellout crowd once again tonight. It's going to be the 16th sellout of the year, and now that we're into the summer months, the sellouts will come a lot more frequently. This was the time of the year last year when the Brewers sold out 22 consecutive games.
Yep, still good. Still a lot of tickets left for the rest of this homestand. Some good teams coming in.
Yeah, we don't want you to think you can't get a ticket anymore.
Right. Even the San Francisco Giants have surprised a lot of baseball people so far this year. 37-32. Of course, they're trying to chase the best team in baseball, the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Giants have an identical record to the Brewers starting the day. Giants weren't expected to do much in the West. They'll make their first and only trip, or their first trip, I should say, to Milwaukee following this series with the Twins. And then the Mets come in to complete the 9-game homestand. And as we said in the open, this is the time of the year where the Brewers really need to pull up the anchor, because this is the time of the year where home games are aplenty. 15 of the next 19 games will be here at Miller Park. Two-out walk given up by Liriano. Braun is aboard for Fielder.
Yeah, Liriano continues to incorporate this I'm going to pitch around Ryan Braun philosophy. I think he's going to pay for it at some point. Prince too good of a hitter, too good of a run producer to be shut out against Liriano.
Fielder is stranded 4 men on base tonight. He's 0 for 2, a strikeout and a ground out. Well, the Twins lead at 7-3, but the Brewers, just the way the game is going, you don't feel like they're out of it by any stretch. I mean, this is an offensive kind of night. It's already been 14 hits.
Yeah, there are nights when a 4-run lead seems insurmountable, but it's far from that tonight.
And nothing, a big swat from Fielder. Can't turn around in a hurry. For example, a 4-run lead against Justin Verlander on Sunday would have been game over.
That would have been nice. Let's first have to get 4 runs off of Justin Verlander.
Liriano's pitch count is up there. 86 pitches through 3+, and Fielder wraps one back up the middle. Hard hit ball, and the Brewers have 2 on again. Base runners everywhere for Milwaukee, just like the Twins.
And that's really not a philosophy that many teams try to incorporate, pitching around Ryan Braun. Even a left-hander out there to face Prince Fielder. Prince makes him pay for it, a 2-0 pitch. Fastball right down the middle, and Prince Fielder bangs it right back through the middle. That's a good swing. Good at bat. And now big fly makes it interesting.
Fielder with a smile. Corey Hart bats with 2 outs and 2 men aboard. Braun and Fielder a walk and a hit. Now, as good as Ron Gardenhire feels about his offense and the way they have cashed in on some Brewer mistakes tonight, he cannot feel all that comfortable with Liriano.
And the body language of Joe Mauer behind home plate tells a story. He's getting a little frustrated out there. His pitcher not able to hit his spots. He's throwing an awful lot of sliders. I don't know if that's normal. Bouncing a lot of sliders, that makes for a busy night for the catcher. You see Mauer wanted that pitch on the outside corner. Ended up inner half.
And off Doug Eddings' mask. The Brewers have left 2 men on base in each of the first 3 innings. Hart trying to stop that trend right here in the 4th. Through him a changeup. And it's 2 balls and a strike on Corey Hart. Hart has 3 home runs during this 10-game hitting streak. He's found his home run stroke and has 9 for the year. 2 balls and a strike. 3-1. Liriano ready to throw his 92nd pitch here in the 4th inning. And the 3-1, Hart takes it for a strike. Full count. Well, the runners will be on the move with the pitch on a 3-2 count. It's Bobby Keppel just arriving to the big leagues from AAA, loosening in the Twins bullpen. There go the runners. The 3-2. Hart strikes out. Liriano got him with a fastball. And the inning ends and the Brewers strand a pair. Frustrating night at the ballpark so far. has already posted 47 base runners. We head to the 5th inning. Delman Young into center field, and Cameron makes a catch. Let me correct myself. Before you go running for the hills there. Not 47 base runners. 47 appearances at the plate. Make it 48 now.
I knew what you meant.
47 base runners.
I knew what you meant.
That would be a record.
I didn't panic.
And there is the line. 7 runs, 8 hits for the Twins. 3 runs, 7 hits for the Brewers. The Brewers have stranded 8 men on base already. So they've had their chances.
This is the way this game of baseball is. We went on the air talking about Liriano and the fact that he's so good in the first 2 innings. And then it begins a bit of a meltdown, 3, 4, and 5. Hadn't given up a run since the 2nd inning. And sometimes the trends and the numbers don't mean a whole lot as you go, day by day. But throughout the year, they pretty much hold up.
Brewers scoring 2 in the first and then 1 in the second. All 3 of the Milwaukee runs with 2 outs. But if you're just joining us, the Brewers have not been sharp defensively tonight, and it's cost them big time. In that 4th inning, the double play from Creedy to end the inning, the first scoreless inning for Jeff Suppan here tonight. I saw Manny Ramirez returning to baseball tonight. He is playing for the Albuquerque Dukes. So he'll get a chance to play in basically a minor league rehabilitation situation in AAA as Punto comes up with a base hit. And time now for our U.S. Cellular text to vote question of the night. Do you still care what Brett Favre does next football season? W for yes, X for no, Y for no unless he plays for the Vikings. And 234 is the number to send. So anyway, Manny Ramirez is back in action. He's scheduled to return July 3rd. That's when his 50-game suspension ends, which means he's going to be here in Milwaukee when the Dodgers come to town on the next homestand. Tonight, the Albuquerque Dukes are playing the Nashville Sounds, and Manny Parra is pitching.
Yep, Manny thinking that he never left the big leagues.
Liriano gets a bunt down. The throw to second in time. Hardy's return not in time. And a heck of a play by Casey McGee to keep that one out of the dugout.
And a good play by Jason Kendall keeping that lead runner off base. So a man at first and 2 outs instead of a man at second and 2 outs. Pretty good bunt. Deadens it. And a nice throw by Jason to get 1 out. And JJ nearly threw it away.
Boy, right off the end of his glove, huh? Snow cone. McGee keeps it out of the dugout, keeps Liriano from advancing. 2 outs, top of the order. And the guy who has done plenty of damage tonight in Carlos Gomez. 3 hits, including a double, 2 RBIs, and 2 runs scored.
And Suppan threw over to first base. Liriano was still standing on first.
A Little League lead.
He has a lead that's about 18 inches long.
Well, it is Little League Day here at Miller Park.
Yeah. He's not going to get off much more than that. Well, maybe now. Prince's going to play behind him.
Prince says, I'm going to play behind you.
That's about twice the lead that he had before.
Now 3 times. With each step, there's a pop-up. Foul territory out of play in the seats. It was great to see all the Little Leaguers here today. They had a parade. They walked on the warning track from the right field foul pole all the way around behind home plate and then out toward the left field foul pole.
It's got to be a big thrill for him.
Yeah. Ton of Little Leaguers here tonight. It's a great scene. Nothing like seeing the kids in their uniforms and wide-eyed as they walk around Miller Park. It's kind of that Olympics feel, you know, the opening ceremonies for a Little Leaguers zone, a big league ballpark. Carrying their flags and
the parents very willing to chaperone.
Mm-hmm.
Get down on the field.
I noticed Telly was a big hit for all the Little Leaguers as they were parading by today.
Mm-hmm.
He was just doing his pregame work.
He's a very approachable guy, Telly Hughes.
Don't you want to walk right over there and give him a big hug?
No. A little hot down there. Maybe a handshake.
I'm getting a little of the breeze from the dugout, so I'm okay.
Okay.
A little bit.
Well, you're comfy.
Not as comfy as you guys up there. I know that.
2-2. Nice play by Kendall.
You know, it's kind of interesting, our booth. You know, it's air conditioned up here in the press box, but on the lower level of our booth, it really doesn't get the full effect of the air conditioning.
Right.
So it's a little bit hot down here, but then we have Renee up here. She's got the pullover on. She's cold
up.
So
we kind of bring the AC down.
Yeah.
We're not very energy efficient here.
We want to experience what the players experience.
And here's a foul ball right in your lap. There's Renee. See, she's all bundled up. Best stage manager in the history of television right there.
One of the many reasons why it's nice to be home.
She is a first ballot stage manager Hall of Famer. For sure. Full count, 2 outs. Gomez pops it up. And for the first time tonight, Gomez will be retired as Braun makes a catch. A scoreless inning. Back-to-back scoreless innings for Suppan. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered.
Hey, Mountain Bay Bar and Grill in Eland is tonight's Tavern of the Game winner. If they call the Brewers by 8 o'clock tomorrow, 414-902-4572. They get 40 tickets to a 2009 Brewers home game. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Having a little fun at the old ballpark. See if the Brewers offense can fight their way back in this game. 7-3 Minnesota. Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder, Telly Hughes, Craig Kashawn, and Davey Nelson with Brewers Live postgame coming your way following this one. And tonight's game being produced by Chris Withers, directed by Michael Odino. A sellout crowd, but a quiet crowd thus far. Down 7-3 to the border rival, the Minnesota Twins. Well, I'm sure the Twins wishing they could play the Brewers all the time. They look unbeatable when they play Milwaukee. It's just a shock to look down and see the Twins are a game under 500 coming into play tonight.
And Francisco Liriano in danger of not being able to get through 5 innings here. Ron Gardenhire's got to be getting frustrated. There's a guy that's 2-8, an ERA under 6, and he's 1-4 on the road. He's got a 4-run lead and really hasn't looked very sharp at all.
Liriano with 4 walks in 4+ innings. J.J. Hardy takes a strike. Pitch count rising for both starters. Ken Maka has a theory, and I think starting pitchers certainly appreciate his style as a manager, but he has made a pact with his pitchers, especially his starters, that he's going to give you every chance to win a ball game. So if you can give him extended innings, continue to pitch. For example, tonight in Supan's case, he allowed Supan to hit for himself in the bottom of the 3rd inning with 2 outs. He's giving Supan a chance to continue here and see if the offense can bring him back.
Hey, throughout our communities, unique individuals give back in many charitable ways. David Barr, Loyal Maynard, and Mary Knockreiner are the Brewers finalists in People Magazine's All-Stars Among Us through Thursday. You can vote for one of them by going to foxsports.com and clicking on the link for All-Stars Among Us. The winner from each city will be honored before the All-Star game, seen only on Fox.
Billy Hall with a man on and 1 out. Oh, and Hall got a good piece of Doug Eddings. Wow. That just sounded like it hurt. Eddings writhing in pain behind the dish. We'll see if Mauer gives him a minute here.
Wow, right on the knee.
I think his hand was on his knee. Well, it kind of shows you where Bill Hall is, doesn't it? I mean, he has completely overhauled his pre-pitch setup from one at bat to the next in this game.
That's an example of a guy that's just trying to find something to be comfortable up there at the plate. Get a good look at the baseballs that's coming in. Problem with doing that, you're thinking more about where your hands and your feet are than trying to find that baseball.
Hooks one, a high pop up into left. Young toward the line. That one's in the seats.
Very difficult to make adjustments from at bat to at bat during a game. Those are the things that you ordinarily do in batting practice. In batting practice, you go in the cage, you go on the tee. A lot of guys do it though. Not to the extent and the radical changes that Billy is trying to make. Sometimes they're very subtle.
Yeah. As you see Matt Gamble on deck, he'll hit for Supan, barring a double play here. Hall has that early set of his left foot. Check him out. Sets it now, and then sets it again, and down he goes on strikes. It is just a monumental battle for Bill Hall right now. 2 outs in the inning. Hall, a strikeout victim for the 2nd time.
And pitches that he should be hitting, he's swinging right through. You can see that fastball, middle in, 1 tap. Just trying to figure out a way to stay back. That's what it's all about for Billy in the toe tap. He moves the foot once, then he taps it the 2nd time. Just trying to find some type of comfort level to stay on the baseball. It's not like he's missing real tough pitches. It's pitches that are right down the middle, and that's the most frustrating thing for everybody, including Billy Hall.
And hitters will tell you as you see Gamble pinch hitting, you know, when you're locked in, when you're hitting the baseball, you're not thinking about any of that. You're not thinking about your hands, your feet. You're just seeing it and hitting it. That one gets by Mauer. Cameron to second base. And Gamble with a base hit can drive in a run here. And chip into that deficit a little bit. Final numbers on Jeff Supan. 5 innings, 9 hits. 7 runs, 4 earned for Supan. He walks 3, strikes out 3.
And it probably should have been less than that. It probably should have been less than 4 runs.
Chris Narveson, the lefty, loosening. Gamble swings and misses. Gamble actually did more damage in AAA against left-handed pitching than he did right-handers, and has handled lefties pretty well in the big leagues this year when he's got the chance.
One of the reasons sometimes where a left-hander might have that kind of success is because you really take the power out of it. I mean, at least in your thought process, when you go up there to the plate, you're concentrating on keeping that front shoulder in, just trying to drive it through the middle, and lo and behold, that's when you get a good pitch to hit and drive it out of the ballpark. You're not trying to. Against right-handed, you try and muscle up a little bit perhaps and try to hit the ball out of the ballpark, and you don't.
Gamble lays off a tough pitch. That works the count 3-2.
That's why a lot of times you see a lot of two-strike home runs. Guys just trying to put a good swing on a baseball to stay alive, not to strike out. And the ball just jumps off your bat.
Cameron at second. Brewers could use a run here. Down 4 in the 5th. And Gamble had a good cut at that one. Boy, big swing from Gamble with 2 strikes. He fouls it back.
110 pitches are ready for Liriano in the 5th. I think the Twins would be elated to see him just be able to get through 5 innings.
He knows he is a strike away from being in line for a victory. Gamble takes ball 4. Terrific at bat from Matt Gamble.
And that might be it.
How long will Gardenhire stick with him?
That's a lot of pitches, 111 already.
Well, with Kendall coming up, Gardenhire will give Liriano a chance at a victory. You have to go 5 innings as a starter to pick up a win. Meanwhile, on the other side, the Brewers hoping to cash in big time here. 2 on, 2 out.
That's a long leash that Gardenhire's given Liriano tonight. Not many pitchers or managers would allow him to stay out there. You could see really lamenting the decision to keep him in there. Very frustrating.
It's like he doesn't want to watch. The Brewers have had at least 2 men on base in every single inning tonight against Liriano. They've scored 3 runs, but have stranded 8. Casey McGee is on deck. 2 on, 2 out. Kendall down in a hole, 0-2. This most certainly would be Liriano's last hitter. He either retires Kendall and gets through it, or if Kendall reaches, you got to think Gardenhire makes a call to the bullpen at that point. Just missed. Fastball inside, 1-2. Cardinals have added to their lead in New York. They lead the Mets 3-0. That's in the top of the 9th. Brewers started the day a game back to St. Louis. That one skips through Mauer's legs. And now a base hit will score 2.
A couple of wild pitches in the inning, and the Brewers are a hit away from cutting the deficit in half. This one doesn't even come close. Fastball bounces in front of home plate. Mauer goes up, doesn't keep the glove down, and right between the legs. I would imagine Joe Mauer looking forward to a new pitcher in there. He has been all over the place back there tonight. I've been there.
Another one in the dirt. Mauer blocks that one. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And I'd be shocked if Liriano throws anything but a fastball here.
Well, the last wild pitch was on a fastball that didn't reach home plate.
Keppel was loosening last inning. He's ready to come in. The Brewers can cash in here. Kendall was down 0-2. Now it's 3-2. And Kendall takes a called strike 3. 2 left on. The Brewers come up empty. And Liriano gets through 5.
Odds are you'll like them. By Airtran. Go. There's nothing stopping you. And by Aflac. We've got you under our wing.
And this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Brewers and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Brewers. All right. We love you right back. Fox Sports Wisconsin, the home of Brewers baseball this week. Great opponents coming in here with Minnesota, San Francisco, and then the New York Mets. Chris Narveson is on to pitch. Both starters are now out of the game, each with 5 innings. Suppan on the hook for the loss. Liriano in line for the win. Narveson making his 3rd appearance. These are some big innings here for Chris Narveson. He's given Maka some innings here lately, but he's looking for some shutdown innings.
Yeah, pitched in Detroit on Friday in that long game with a lot of rain. Ended up finishing that ball game. Well, I would imagine Ken Maka would like him to eat up a couple of innings at least until his spot comes up in the batting order.
And that is a phrase that has been uttered too often for the managers like him, hoping somebody can eat up some innings. Brewer starters having a hard time going deep into ball games. Although Suppan, really, you look at his night, he gives up 7 runs, 4 earned. If the Brewers play a little bit better defensively behind him, things could have been a lot different for Jeff Suppan. But at the same time, you got to tip your hat to Minnesota because they got their hits and they made the Brewers pay. That's what good teams do. It has been a big struggle for the Twins on the road this year. They are 10 games under 500 away from the Metrodome. 11-21.
But they're playing much better away from home. They started out much worse than those numbers.
Joe Mauer is 0 for 4. It's the third time he's grounded out in this game. And 2 quick outs. Here's Justin Morneau. Narveson out of Raleigh, North Carolina. Big lefty, 6'3". Spent all of last season in AAA Nashville and started this season in AAA.
That's a nice breaking pitch right there.
Punching those all-star ballots. Keep them coming. Still time to vote for your favorite All-Stars until July 2nd. You can also go online and vote 25 times per email account.
Have you done that yet?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Well, Narveson, a 3-up, 3-down inning. Getting Mauer and Morneau in the process. Brewers coming up, bottom of the 6th. Down 4. Pitch extended it, then Creedy drove in 3 runs with a double into left center. That's how this game started. That was in the top of the 1st inning. Brewers came back, got a couple of runs in the bottom of the 1st. A botched double play would have gotten Suppan out of the 3rd inning. Instead, 3 runs came in to score. And Minnesota with a 7-3 lead now as we head to the bottom of inning number 6. And R.A. Dickey is on to pitch. Liriano is out after 5 innings as Gardenhire goes to his bullpen.
Now, Ron Gardenhire, I would imagine, very happy to be able to get 5 innings out of Liriano, who was less than perfect. Brewers left 10 runners on base in the first 5 innings. R.A. Dickey coming on, putting up some pretty good numbers, 29 strikeouts in 38 2/3.
So Casey McGee leads off. McGee with 2 hits tonight and an RBI. Cardinals have won tonight. Joel Pinheiro threw a complete game 2-hit shutout against the New York Mets in New York. A 2-hitter. The only Mets who had hits in this game. Castillo and Reed coming off the bench. Some kind of effort from Pinheiro. Cubs lost against the Tigers. A thrilling Tiger win. A lot of home runs in that game. It went back and forth. Brandon Inge hit another home run. Now has 17 for the year. But it was Rayburn who hit the game winner against the Chicago Cubs.
And Kevin Gray giving it up in the 9th inning, and Tigers all of a sudden have won 3 straight. 4 straight, actually.
Yeah. Tigers, the team the Twins are chasing in the American League Central, and they've opened up a 4-game lead. Full count to McGee. Brendan Harris for the second out. Excuse me, for the first out. So 1 gone. Here comes Ryan Braun at the plate, presented by Wendy's. Braun been on twice, 2 walks. Ryan's second among National League outfielders in the latest fan voting results. Looks like he's headed to the Midsummer Classic as an all-star starter, but continue to vote. Make your votes count.
You know, as if tonight wasn't tough enough for Joe Mauer, and now they have a knuckleballer in the ball game.
That's right.
R.A. Dickey, a knuckleballer. Threw that last one at 73 miles an hour. You can see the glove that he's using. More like a first baseman's mitt than a catcher's mitt.
Well, the Liriano to Dickey combination is not exactly a good night at the office for Joe Mauer.
No.
At least he's going to work for it.
You got to get a bigger glove, a little bit more area, and at least knock it down. It's more like a first baseman's mitt so that you have a little bit more mobility with it.
Unlike a guy like Tim Wakefield, R.A. Dickey actually has a decent fastball still. He can still throw it in the mid-80s.
Kind of reminds you of the stuff of Tom Candiotti. Threw a lot of knuckleballers, but had a fastball, a curveball, a changeup. Not afraid to throw him, but his out pitch, and when he's ahead in the count normally, it's going to be the knuckleball.
And as much as you want to get up there and just swing away as hard as you can, sometimes you got to swing like the pitch. 2-2 to Braun. Doing the fastball, and Braun beats it into the ground. 2 outs. The Milwaukee Brewers will host the first Brewers block party of the 2009 season this Saturday from 11 to 1. The first one will take place at Village Park in Brown Deer. Players and coaches, including Yovani Gallardo and J.J. Hardy, will be making an appearance. This is the first of 3 scheduled block parties, Rock. The dates of the other 2 are July 11th. Did you get that?
Yeah.
July 11th at Kern Park and August 15th at Hart Park, as in Corey Hart.
Those are a lot of fun. They really are.
Get to see the players. A lot of activities going on. And
sausages running around.
And our good buddy Teddy Werner working hard to put those block parties on, and his staff. So you have 3 opportunities coming to a neighborhood near you. Fielder, a bouncer, Morneau to Dickey. 3 up, 3 down. Head to the 7th at Miller Park. And by Toyota, proud sponsor of the Milwaukee Brewers and the Tundra Territory at Miller Park. First game of a 9-game homestand in our Miller Lite What's on Tap. The Brewers and the Twins. 2 games left after tonight. Night game tomorrow. We're on the air at 6:30. Thursday's a matinee. Brewers live at 12:30 on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Then the Giants come to town. Here's how it's going to look like on the mound. Tomorrow it's Nick Blackburn for the Twins against Braden Looper. And Scott Baker is going to get the start in place of Kevin Slowey for Minnesota. Thursday, Mike Burns will be up from AAA to start for the Brewers to replace Dave Bush, who was placed on the disabled list today. Dave Bush on the DL with micro tearing of his right tricep. As you see, Seth McClung, who could be making a bid to enter the starting rotation. And this outing might have something to do with that. As you see, Dave Bush, who knows how long Dave Bush is going to be down. At least 2 weeks, but it could be more. They thought it was just arm fatigue. They really didn't see anything, but once they went and did more tests and had a good look at it with Dr. Raj, they realized he had a micro tear.
Did the MRI. They tear of the tricep, and you know, it's one of those things where Dave Bush, as tough as he is and as mentally tough, he wasn't about to say anything. Not only was he able to stay in that ball game in Florida where he got hit, tried to make a couple of starts, but you could tell something wasn't right. Not able to get out of the 4th inning in his last 2 starts. That's very unlike Dave Bush. So hopefully a couple of weeks and he'll be back at it. And at the time of that injury, he was about as consistent a starter as the Brewers had.
And the first real blow to the Brewers is Kadire sends one deep to right. That is a foul ball. Just missed the line. The first injury blow, I guess, is a better way to put it, because I think the Brewers counting on Manny Parra to deliver from that spot in the rotation. Parra is back in AAA now. And there's one thing that's for sure, that the Brewers are going to make a run here. They're going to need a guy like Manny Parra, which is why it's imperative and why the Brewers are sticking so firm to lead Parra down in AAA to try to work on a few things. And he's under some pretty good tutelage down there. Don Money's the manager, and your former teammate Chris Bosio, an excellent pitching coach, is in AAA. And he's not talking about Manny Parra here. He's not in the big league stage down in AAA, so he can go work on some stuff.
He can relax and get that mental focus back, and I think that was in large part the reason that Manny struggled. I don't think it was as much mechanical as it was philosophy and just his mindset out there on the mound. But Chris Bosio, as you mentioned, a pretty good pitching coach. I mean, he was a pitching coach for Lou Piniella in Tampa Bay for a while. Getting an opportunity again with the Brewers down in AAA. He's a good baseball guy. So is Don Money. I mean, Manny's got a couple of guys down there that are very good at what they do. Don Money will certainly get to him as far as the mental approach.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Well, Parra has made 1 start. Tonight was his 2nd. Pitching against Manny Ramirez, as a matter of fact, in the Albuquerque Isotopes is their name now. But his first start, he went 6 innings. He gave up 1 run. And reports from Nashville that day were that Manny was pitching more like a power pitcher. He was pitching like the big lefty that he is. Base hit by Creedy.
Not to say that Billy Castro and Stan Kiles and the coaches here at the big league level, they don't know, they could certainly do it, but it's a lot different, as you mentioned, on the big league stage. I mean, these guys, you can work on stuff between starts. And once you get out here, you get into 43,000 people. You got the big scoreboards going. I mean, it's a little bit different. I mean, guys lose their focus a little bit. So you go down to the minor leagues, you maybe hear a little bit different approach from a different coach. You don't have that pressure at the big league level. And you're more willing to be receptive and make some changes.
That's why it is so tough to make significant changes at this level. I mean, Bill Hall's going through it now offensively. He's trying to make significant changes. Hall makes a nice pickup there. Snap throw to second. McGee, a beautiful turn at the bag. And another double play. That was well done. Billy Hall to Casey McGee to Prince Fielder.
Rally Caps trailing here in the 7th inning. And Davey, early on, giving up runs, really giving away runs, really cost the Brewers starting in that 1st inning. And really 2 plays where you give away 5 runs. And it starts with Kadire, the strikeout, but the wild pitch loads the bases. All 3 runs will later score.
Well, that's right. And when you look at it, you look at when your failure to make the routine play, partner, leads to more rallies than anything in baseball. And in those innings where they scored 3 runs, they didn't make the routine play, the block ball, the double play. That led to rallies. And when you don't make routine plays, you get hurt. And that's what happened.
That happened early. We'll see what happens late. We also know in our on-field instructional coming up after the ballgame, Burt Blyleven, the Twins broadcasting side, will join Bill and Davey on the field. We're going to talk about the pickoff at second base and properly use our pitcher-catcher and infielder.
Yeah, and Burt will probably say, hey, he's picked me off several times during his career, but he hasn't.
Yeah, all right, we've got that straight. All right, let's send it back to Brian and Bill.
Never let the facts get in the way, right, Davey? Good to see Burt Blyleven joining up with you guys tonight. He's always entertaining, if not factual.
Going to be down on the field just like we were in the Twin Cities, so we're at the Metrodome, and I will not be catching today. So Craig was a little bit in error there.
Maybe you just don't know about it.
Oh, no, I know. I had no control over what was going on in the Metrodome, but we're in our house today.
This is your territory.
This is our house.
It's the Bill Schroeder Show.
We run the show.
Especially when it comes to the tools of ignorance.
You're right.
Last time you donned the gear and you caught Blyleven and he crossed you up.
Yeah, he did. Hit me in the wrist. But just like back in his playing days, he didn't hurt me then either.
2-2 to Hart. Brewers trying to get something going here. They've had their chances. Slicing one to right. Hart is out. And hey, Craig, I want to hear more about this golf tournament. Your swing could use a little work, but I like your passion.
Hey, I carried our team to a 76 yesterday, and I thought it was high score, but that didn't work out. Davey Nelson Celebrity Golf Tournament, the first one for Open Arms Children in South Africa and Brewer Charities as well. What a day, Davey.
Oh, it was an outstanding day. And look at Bruce over here. Yeah, he's going for balls, a $2.50 ball. He's out there with this thing and almost fell when he went up to the step to try to get up, But, it was great, though. And Bruce had a great day. Robin, the whole guys, all the celebrities, and we raised a lot of money and went for a good cause. And through most of the money there, we're going to build the Davey Nelson cafeteria for our kids because we're housing, by the end of the year, 100 kids, and our house is too small. the kitchen, so we're going to build a new facility.
You got to feed them, make them big and strong and grow. It was a spectacular day yesterday, and looking forward to next year's second annual event.
Well, that's right, and you know what? You carried your team, partner. I watched you. I saw that, man.
Can I just say that wasn't the goal? Brian?
76 at a scramble. Wow, as Cameron strikes out. Well, Rock, we got a good look at Craig Kashan's swing yesterday. Now, there's one huge flaw here, and it has to do with this right there. That is a bad move.
See, I can't see that, though. I can't see that.
But look
look
at the whip on the shaft, Craig. You're putting some speed through that shaft. Nice going.
I don't mess around, man. I'm long distance right here. I think that was in play, wasn't it?
It was in play. It was right down the middle of the fairway.
J.J. Hardy with a base hit. A 2-out hit for Hardy, his second hit of the game. That was all in good fun, and we're proud of Davey and his orphanage, and glad we could assist that cause. It is a great cause, and looking forward to the event next year as well.
I challenge the fact that Bruce Fleming has ever bought a golf ball.
Well, apparently not, if he's carrying the scooper.
And $250 for a ball?
That was a classic.
I could buy a sleeve of
shot.
balls for $250.
I could see Bruce just rolling right into that water. Fishing for golf balls.
You don't have one of those in your bag?
No. Next thing you know, he'll have a towel hanging out of his pocket.
Yeah, imagine that. Oh, boy.
Well, Billy Hall with 2 outs and a man on. 0 for 3 tonight. The Brewers looking for anything to get him back in business here. That way, you saw a shot of Matt Tolbert. He's in there at second base. Punto left this game with cramping in his rib cage, something he's been battling here the last couple of days. 1-2. Villanueva would be next. Seems like you're always in a 2-strike count when you're struggling. And Hall 0 for 3 tonight, couple of strikeouts. Hall in 2 strikes with Hardy over at first. And Billy fouls it away.
And it just starts to become a mental thing with you. As you mentioned, you go up there, you try and be patient at the plate, you try and take some pitches, and every time it seems like you take one, it's a strike, and every time you swing at one, it's not a strike. A lot of hitters have been there, and it's a very lonely feeling up there at the plate.
That one gets by a knuckleball that skips away from Mauer. Hardy into second base, so a base hit could score a run. Wild pitch.
And a lot of pitches in front of Joe Mauer today. Really can't fault a catcher for a knuckleball getting by you. If things move, you don't know which way they're going to move. And yes, indeed, it's hot. It's supposed to be hotter tomorrow. We don't mind, do we?
Not at all.
I like the heat.
Good baseball weather.
Especially up here in the press box.
Just bring clothes to sweat in. That's all we'll tell you.
Yeah.
Then you don't mind. Rally caps are on. Let's hope it helps. Brewers need a bolt from someone. 2-2 the count on Hall. And down he goes on strikes. Inning over. Brewers fail to score. We're headed to the 8th.
Mike Schmidt, Greg Nettles, Buddy Bell, Sal Bando, Bert Campaneris, Lou Brock, Willie Sargent, George Foster, Reggie Jackson, Andre Dawson. I'm going to tell you, the 70s was glorious. And the only thing, one of the top hits in 71 was by Carole King, It's Too Late. And it's too late for you, buddy.
Davey.
That's a side of Davey I have never seen right there. But that little one-on-one thing there, that brings it out of him.
That little go for the jugular.
Carlos Villanueva is on to pitch for the Brewers as we head to the 8th. 7-3 Minnesota.
It's been a bit of a struggle for Villa in the last few outings. He was able to get through a scoreless inning against the Tigers his last time out, but got roughed up a bit in Cleveland.
Matt Tolbert leads off his first at bat. Came in for Nick Punto, who's out of this game with cramping in his rib cage. Twins have a couple of rib injuries they're dealing with. Kevin Sloy, one of their terrific starting pitchers, is not going to be able to pitch in this series. They bumped him back to June 27th. Tolbert sends one high in the air, deep right field. Hart at the track, and he makes a catch for the out. One gone.
I don't think any of the Brewer hitters are upset about that. Slowy's put together some pretty good starts against Milwaukee.
Instead, Scott Baker will bump up a day and start on Thursday. Twins have also had the flu going around their ball club. Jason Kubel left Sunday's game with flu-like symptoms. Mauer's had a cold, flu-like symptoms as well. Jose Morales, switch-hitting catcher. One of 3 catchers the Twins carry on their roster, and it has as much to do with Joe Mauer as a hitter as anything else.
Well, and you have Mike Redmond behind home plate, perhaps on Thursday, as they get through interleague play in the National League ballparks. You may be able to use Mauer as a pinch hitter at some point in the ball game and still have another catcher in case something would happen to the starter Redmond. Amazing how American League ball clubs are built for the designated hitter, and we saw 3 catchers for the Detroit Tigers.
That's right.
In that series over the weekend.
And if the Tigers really got in a pinch, as Morales singles to right, they could always call on Brandon in. So the problem Ron Gardenhire has, if you have only 2 catchers and you use Mauer, if you want to give him a day off from catching, and he's been beat up tonight, then you put him in the DH role. Well, all of a sudden Redmond gets hurt, and then now you lose your DH.
Right.
So that extra catcher allows Gardenhire to pick his spots with Mauer. And you can keep your designated hitter. You can either use Mauer as a DH or you can use him in a pinch hit role.
And in the National League ballparks, as we were talking about, use Mauer as a pinch hitter. Don't have to put him behind home plate. Give him the full day off. I'd say big league managers, whether in the American League or National League, I mean, interleague play and for American League managers to manage National League ball games isn't really that big of a deal. These guys are good. They're good at what they do, and they can adapt. It's just a matter of setting your roster in a more National League type of a game. You use your bench players a lot more in the National League. Remember that game in Cleveland, 14-12?
Yeah.
Not one bench player was used in that game with the DH.
Yep. The lineup stayed intact through all of that mess. Brewers are 4-8 against American League teams this year. Twins are 8-4.
Talked to Ken Maka about that. How many players would you have used in that game had you been in the National League? He said probably everybody and some pitchers.
That's right.
And some pitchers would have probably run in that game.
Off the end of the bat, Cameron got a late break. Hardy's going back, and he runs it down. Terrific play by Hardy. Over the shoulder catch.
been a whole day of those kind of base hits for Gomez, but J.J. able to get there. The 2 RBI single in the 3rd inning by Gomez, similar to that. J.J. couldn't get to it, but able to show good range in short center field. Our Home Depot doing more on defense.
Second out of the inning for Villanueva. And with all the back and forth about interleague baseball, especially as far as what happens between the lines, here we are at Miller Park on a Tuesday night, and 42,000 in attendance.
The regional rivalries. That's what it's all about. That's what Bud Selig had in mind when he started interleague play. Say what you want about some of the matchups in interleague play that have kind of don't have that luster, that buzz, but this one certainly does. Mets, Yankees, Cubs, White Sox. I like it. I like some of these matchups, not all of them, but you can't have one without the other.
Seven to 3, the Twins lead the Brewers. There has not been a run scored since the top of the 3rd inning. The first 5 half innings of this game, there were runs scored. None since. Twins had 2 3-run innings, the first and the third. The Brewers a 2-run first, and then they scored in the second. Villanueva trying to keep it that way. Brendan Harris at the plate with Mauer on deck. Harris, a little lazy fly ball. Cameron will glide under it. And another scoreless inning. Here we go. See if the Brewers have a rally in them. 6 outs to work with. 4-run deficit. The pitcher when changing balls.
No.
That's Kenan Lacrosse.
No, it never did.
It should have.
Why?
No, I don't know. Sometimes Doug Eddings, he throws bullets back there.
Yeah.
A lot harder than sometimes they even come in. Menard's game reset. Don't be offended by that question.
No, I'm just curious. I mean, why would I be offended by that? Guy trying to help you out a little bit.
That's just one less throw you have to make, right?
Right. I always had elbow problems anyway.
He could throw them all back for all you care.
You betcha. Even when they're trying to steal.
Craig Counsell leads off. Matt Guerrera is on to pitch. And he has been very good lately. Has not given up a run in 13 games.
Yeah, set up man for Joe Nathan out of that bullpen. Back end of the bullpen pretty good for these Twins. Matt Guerrero throws hard, has a good curveball.
Council pinch hitting for Villanueva. A .299 batting average to start the day. Council takes a strike. Council likely back in the starting lineup tomorrow, with the right-hander Nick Blackburn scheduled to pitch. 7-3 Twins lead the Brewers. And that one hit him. Council is on base. A hit by pitch and a good start for the Brewers to get a man on with nobody out, back to the top of the order.
9 spot's been a good one for the Brewers. Suppan with a base hit. Gamble pinch hit and walked. And now Council gets hit by the pitch. Just got a piece of the jersey. So a leadoff base runner for the Crew brings the top of the order up.
It's the best way to get hit, when it only hits the jersey. Time is now for the Brewers. Joe Nathan, quite a hammer in that Twins bullpen as their closer. Nathan with 16 saves on the year. Kendall trying to reach, turn it over to McGee and Braun and Fielder. Top of the order for Milwaukee. Kendall batting leadoff for the second time of the season. Hit leadoff on the road trip for the first time since the 2007 season. Joe Nathan wondering if he'll get a chance to save a game tonight. Three and one. This is a big batter for Guerrero. He got some muscle coming up. McGee would be next. He's posted 2 hits tonight, including a double and a run batted in. 3-1. 3-2. Kendall had a hit and a run scored in the first inning. Struck out with a couple of men on his last time up. That was the final hitter that Liriano faced. Gomez under this one. First out of the inning. So here comes Casey McGee with Council still at first. Sunday, McGee belting his second career home run, Powerball home run number 2 for Casey McGee. Did it off Justin Verlander in the first inning. 2 more hits tonight, had 2 hits on Sunday. And trying to get Braun to the plate with a couple of men on base.
Yeah, that's the idea. That's why Jason Kendall kept taking pitches until he had to swing with 2 strikes. Brewers needing base runners. Get a couple of men on. Somebody hit one out of here. Get back in this game. Most of the time, particularly with setup men and closers, you're not going to slug your way back in the game. Get some good at bats. You get a walk, and then somebody knock one out.
And that was the formula in Cleveland, with the Brewers down 5 runs twice. Late in that game in Cleveland, Fielder hitting a grand slam home run to put him on top, part of a 6-run 8th inning against the Indians.
There was 4 walks sprinkled in there as well.
McGee pops it up. Long run for Gomez. 2 outs.
Hey fans, tomorrow night is Guardian Credit Union Member Appreciation Night. All Guardian Credit Union members have the opportunity to purchase up to 4 tickets in the club outfield at half price. For more details, visit a Guardian Credit Union location.
Sellout crowd tonight, 42,000 108 in attendance, the 16th sellout of the year. A wild start to this one. The 7-3 score was achieved in the first 3 innings, and 0 since.
Yeah, the Brewers had 5 base hits in the first 2 innings, 3 since. Not a whole lot going on offensively.
And all 3 of those hits since the second inning, singles. 0-2 to Braun. The Brewers have dropped 5 out of 6 at Miller Park, 5 of their last 6 games. Twins starting a 9-game road trip here in Milwaukee. Milwaukee, St. Louis, and Kansas City. Counsell at first, 2 outs. And a 1-2 to Braun. In the air, right center. Well hit. Back is Gomez. At the wall, he's got it. Braun gave it a ride, but the Brewers come up zeros again. Still down 7-3. Care if Brett Favre plays in 09. 56% say no. 31% say no, but yes if with the Vikings. So the polls are closed, and our Jimmy John's delivery of the game tonight for the Milwaukee Brewers has to do with their matchup against Joe Mauer. And despite the Twins leading 7-3 on 11 hits, Mauer is 0 for 4 tonight.
Yeah, who would have thought? You know, Joe Mauer 0 for 4. Justin Morneau with 1 base hit, and the Twins have a 4-run lead.
Mauer, Morneau, and Cuddyer, and Chris Smith is the new Brewer hurler. Suppan went 5. Maka gets single scoreless innings from Narveson, McClung, Villanueva, and now Smith on to work. The Brewers will have Fielder, Hart, and Cameron due up in the bottom of the 9th.
Well, last pitched on Saturday against the Tigers. 2 innings of scoreless baseball, gave up 1 hit. Done a nice job since being recalled or brought up. Opponent batters only 2 for 26 against Smith. Basically a control pitcher, has all four: fastball, slider, curveball, and change, as Craig Counsell takes over at third base.
Smith, 28 years of age, California native. Mauer slices one foul. Mauer's batting average under 400, which doesn't even sound proper to say. It's 395 right now.
It's awfully tough to keep a 400 batting average. I mean, in this day and age, a catcher, that average goes up a lot slower than it'll go down.
Mauer was 0 for 4 on Sunday, snapped a 12-game hit streak. Two and two. Popped him up. Good fastball in there on the inside corner. And Braun retires it.
How many 0 for 5s does Joe Mauer have this year? I would venture to say not many, if any, except for tonight.
He's only had 7 hitless games all season. 7.
Amazing.
And I'm digging through it right now for you, Rock. He had an 0 for 5 game against the Tigers on May 4th. That was it.
About the time he just came back, right?
Yep, that was his 4th game back.
You are a wealth of information over there, my friend.
Yeah, well, you know, we did a little research. I thought you might ask that.
Just off the top of your head, you just know that. How do you have time to do all that?
Yeah, you know, off day yesterday. The problem is the Brewers are losing, and Mauer's 0 for 5, so there's not much victory in that. That's a fair ball. Morneau cues one. The shift was on, and Morneau on his way to second. That'll be a double. Second hit for Morneau and his second double right off the end of the bat.
That's what we're talking about. I mean, he keeps the bat in the hitting zone even when he's way out in front. A pretty good changeup from Smith. Going away, just slices it off the end of the bat. Almost hit the chalk line down the left field line. Barely fair, and that'll go down as a double. Looked good in the scorebook, so 2 doubles from Morneau. 2 doubles and a walk tonight.
Michael Cuddyer at the plate. By the way, were you asking me about Manny Parra?
I was. How'd he do?
He's still in the game. He's gone through 7 innings in Albuquerque. He's given up just 1 run, 5 hits through 7. Manny Ramirez led off in that game for Albuquerque, Manny Parra's opponent, and was 0 for 2. Manny struck him out. Manny Parra struck out Manny Ramirez once.
Nice.
So Parra's second start in AAA, a good one, but he's still in the game through 7 innings. Albuquerque is not an easy place to pitch, as you know. You played in the Pacific Coast League.
Yeah.
It's a launching pad.
Good hitters league, the PCL.
Albuquerque used to be known as the Dukes for a long time, but after the Simpsons episode, they changed the name to the Isotopes.
Had a keep up with the Simpsons, huh?
So that's why they're the Albuquerque Isotopes now. Because you were asking me why, right?
Right.
Just like Mauer's Ophers and Manny Parra's pitching line tonight. Anything else you'd like to know?
I'm good.
High and tight. Smith almost hits Kadire. Ball 4. And 2 men aboard. Well, I can't wait for this. Bill Schroeder, Davey Nelson, Bert Blyleven. Pickoff plays at second base will be on tonight's instructional. Be sure to join us after the game. Brewers Live, sponsored by Lincoln Mercury.
There's about 4 different ones we're going to go over. And I hope Bert gives me a good throw at second base and doesn't mess around like he normally does and try and short hop me.
Just have to check your shoes because your laces might catch fire.
Don't have any. Never have shoelaces around Bert Blyleven.
That's right.
It lights you up.
I mean, was Blyleven? He had to be the ultimate practical joker in the history of the game, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know about the history of the game, but anybody that I ever played with, they say Phil Niekro was a pretty good practical joker. One of the best of all time.
Trevor Hoffman's got to be on that list somewhere.
Yeah.
Do you remember a specific Blyleven practical joke that you could share with the audience? With 2 outs here in the 9th inning?
Over and above, lighting up somebody's shoelaces on the bench.
That was kind of his go-to thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, when things were kind of boring, you needed kind of a chuckle. He always went with that. That's kind of dangerous, too, because not for the obvious reason, but Doug Rader didn't like that too much, and Doug Rader, not a guy you want to upset.
Young pops it up, and this will end the inning. So Brewers coming up for their last call. Nathan loosening and coming in. Well, Francisco Liriano still in line for the victory. It was a battle to get him through 5 innings for the Twins. Suppan on the hook for the loss. The Brewers 4 runs down as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning, and Ron Gardenhire taking no chances. He brings on his closer in a non-save situation.
Well, he's converted 10 consecutive save opportunities, and he's been throwing about as well as he has throughout his career. Hasn't allowed a run in his last 12 appearances. He's only given up 6 hits in that time. So Joe Nathan right now on the top of his game. Brewers have their work cut out for him.
So the Brewers will see 2 of the 3 that were involved in the trade between the Twins and the Giants back in 03 that sent A.J. Pierzynski to San Francisco. What a trade that was for Minnesota. They got Liriano, they got Nathan, and Boof Bonser, who's on the disabled list now, but was a big leaguer last year for Minnesota. 3 players on their major league roster as Fielder into the opposite field, playable for Young. 1 away. Now, Brian Sabean hasn't missed on a lot of trades, but the Giants general manager, that was one that they still talk about in San Francisco. Pierzynski wasn't in San Francisco long.
Every now and then that's going to happen. You're going to miss out on a guy. You don't figure, certain players are going to pan out. But Joe Nathan, pretty good pitcher with San Francisco. Always had a good arm. He's in one of those, 7th inning slots. Once he went over to the Twins, they made him his closer, and he has been tremendous.
Nathan with 16 saves this year. It's interesting that he has blown 3 saves in interleague play as he strikes out Corey Hart. 2 outs in the inning. He has 3 interleague blown saves, twice at the hands of the Brewers.
Hey, remember the one, Russell Branyan hit a home run in the 9th inning to tie it up. Unfortunately, the Twins would go on to win that ball game. A well-placed slider right on the outside corner that time.
Brewers down to their last out.
Remember that home run that he hit?
I do remember that.
Up in the Tundra territory?
Here at Miller Park.
Yes, sir.
I've been impressed with Branyan this year. He's getting a chance to play every day, and he's put up big numbers already. In Seattle, playing first base. Well, the Twins outscored the Brewers 23-8 in that 3-game series in Minneapolis. And a 7-3 lead here tonight. And this feels a lot like all 3 of those games in Minneapolis. A big early lead for Minnesota. Nathan throwing hard and throwing strikes. Blackburn tomorrow for the Twins against Braden Looper for the Brewers. Blackburn 6-2, 3.09 ERA. Looper 5-4 with a 5.21 earned run average. And that's it. Nathan makes quick work of the Brewers in the 9th. Couple of strikeouts. And Milwaukee's troubles with Minnesota continue. They've dropped 4 straight now. And a loss to start this 9-game homestand. Stay with us now. The Brewers and the Twins will look over this game 1 in the postgame show, sponsored by Lincoln Mercury, right after this commercial break.